There are many myths and legends from around the world that have stood the test of time. The stories have been told and retold so many times that it can be difficult to discern facts from fiction. One such tale is that of Atlantis, a mythical island nation that was said to have existed in the Atlantic Ocean. According to Plato, the founder of the philosophical school of Platonism, the Atlanteans were an advanced civilization that possessed great knowledge and wisdom, but they were eventually destroyed by a natural disaster. Since Plato first mentioned Atlantis more than 2,400 years ago, there have been numerous theories about its location and existence. Some believe that Atlantis was a real place that sank beneath the waves, while others think it was merely a figment of Plato's imagination. In TSBDO, we will explore the mystery of Atlantis and the latest findings that may help us solve the riddle once and for all. So join me as we delve into the secrets of this lost civilization and uncover the truth behind the legend. As the Western world emerges from the Dark Ages, the 15th century saw an explosion of discoveries. The continents of Asia and Africa were now known to Europeans, not just through trade routes, but thanks to explorers like Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama, who had traveled extensively across these lands. But something else happened during this time period that changed our conception of history forever. In 1486, a Spanish sailor named Juan de la Casa found a mysterious crystal ball that contained clues about where the legendary lost city of Atlantis might actually be located. However, this would not be the only piece of evidence that suggested the island kingdom did exist at some point in time. Over 2,000 years before Juan de la Casa's discovery, Plato wrote about the island of Atlantis in his works, The Republic and the Laws. He described it as being situated in the Atlantic Ocean, not far from the Strait of Gibraltar, with the Atlas Mountains forming part of its western border. Plato claimed that around 9,000 years before his writing, Atlantis had been a powerful naval force and posed a significant threat to Athens. But after attempting to invade the Greek mainland, the gods became enraged by their hubris and drowned the island, only 2 of the 9 Atlantic tribes surviving the catastrophe. For centuries, people believed that Plato had created Atlantis as a metaphor for moral corruption rather than an actual historical place. However, modern scholars generally agree that he was describing a real island based on contemporary accounts of an advanced civilization, though Atlantis would not be rediscovered until much later. The earliest records of this lost kingdom date back to the 7th century BC, when Pharaoh Necho II commissioned a series of reliefs depicting scenes from Egyptian mythology and daily life along the walls of his temple at Karnak. These carvings included images of sea monsters, which some believe could be representations of creatures that inhabited the waters near Atlantis. As the Western world emerged from the Dark Ages, the 15th century saw an explosion of discoveries. The continents of Asia and Africa were now known to Europeans, not just through trade routes, but thanks to explorers like Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama, who had traveled extensively across these lands. But something else happened during this time period that changed our conception of history forever. In 1486, a Spanish sailor named Juan de la Casa found a mysterious crystal ball that contained clues about where the legendary lost city of Atlantis might actually be located. However, this would not be the only piece of evidence that suggested the island kingdom did exist at some point in time. It is also worth noting here that ancient Greek and Roman writers such as Pliny and Diodorus Siculus all made references to Atlantis as well. Each author provided details about the island's location, size, and natural resources, as well as accounts of its people and culture. They spoke of fertile lands, bountiful harvests, and a society governed by laws which ensured justice and order among the citizens. Despite these descriptions, however, there was still no physical proof that Atlantis had ever existed until recently. In 2013, researchers discovered a collection of artifacts off the coast of Greece that may have originated from the lost civilization. Among the items found were pieces of pottery, jewelry, and tools dating back to around 800 BC, a time frame that corresponds with Plato's account of when Atlantis was destroyed. Although no definitive link between these objects and the mythical kingdom has been established, their presence, nonetheless, provides tantalizing evidence that there may have been an advanced culture living in the Aegean Sea thousands of years ago. Today, scientists continue to search for answers regarding Atlantis' whereabouts. Some believe it could lie beneath the Mediterranean Sea, while others think its remnants may be found somewhere in the uncharted depths of the Atlantic Ocean. With new technologies and research methods, Hope remains that one day soon we will uncover what truly happened to this enigmatic civilization and bring it back from the depths of history. So far, the most convincing evidence that Atlantis really existed comes from a book called The Secret Chronicle of Mut, written by a man named Gerald of Wales in 1136. According to Gerald, he learned from a manuscript in the library of Abingdon Abbey that there was an island near the British coast called Antilles, which had once been inhabited by giants. This account aligns with Plato's description of Atlantis being home to a race of tall, strong people. Additionally, other medieval writers such as Geoffrey of Monmouth and John of Worcester also made brief references to an island called Antilles or Insula, corroborating Gerald's story. However, this is not the only potential link between Britain and Atlantis. There are various theories suggesting that the legendary city may have been located somewhere in this region. One such theory proposes that the island of Glastonbury Tor in Somerset could be the mythical home of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. This idea is supported by the discovery of human remains near the Tor that have been dated back over 5,000 years, suggesting that people have been living there since before the time of Atlantis' destruction. Furthermore, according to local folklore, Joseph of Arimathea, who is said to have been present at Jesus' crucifixion, landed in Glastonbury with some of his followers after fleeing persecution in Jerusalem. Some scholars even believe that he may have brought the Holy Grail to the area and hidden it inside the Tor, making it a potential site for the lost Ark of the Covenant as well. In addition to these tantalizing clues, there are numerous archaeological sites throughout Britain that bear striking resemblances to Plato's description of Atlantis. For example, a Vibury stone circle Wiltshire dates back over 4,000 years and features an impressive array of Neolithic monuments, including large standing stones and burial mounds. Some researchers have suggested that this site may represent the biblical Eden described in Genesis, while others believe it could be connected to the lost city of gold, known as El Dorado, which many explorers sought out in vain during the 16th century. Other possible locations for Atlantis include Dartmoor National Park in Devon and the Isle of Man, both of which contain mysterious stone formations that have been linked to ancient civilizations such as the Druids. While none of these theories have been definitively proven, each offers a unique perspective on the possibility that Atlantis really did exist and that its legacy lives on in the myths and legends of Britain today. What do you think about the recent developments in the search for Atlantis? Is it possible that this legendary island nation could be real? Or is it simply a myth that has captured our imaginations for centuries? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear your take on this fascinating topic. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.